Once you see the illusion, the next question is simple. How do you rise above it? Awareness breaks the spell, but structure beats the system's grip on your life. You've been taught to fix your finances, but wealthy families don't fix their finances. What they do is they build structures. They build trust. They build entities, documentation, and understand internal banking systems. Not a rebellion, not loopholes, but it's architecture. So before you guys dive into this video, thank you guys for watching my video. I'm here today because of you. So for you guys that haven't already, hit the subscribe button. For those of you guys who've been coming, hit the like button. All right. Number two, this is not financial advice. This is not legal advice. This is only for educational purposes only. It's all online. All right. I'm going to break this down in a way to help you guys understand the true element of sovereignty, how to be able to position yourself to truly be sovereign. And I've done videos on this before, but obviously this is a compounding subject. The more and more that we talk about this, the more that we break down the layers to truly understand it. Some people may understand the last video, some people may understand this video, and I will teach. I have no problem with teaching things that I know needs to be repeated. Okay, so thank y'all for watching once again. Let's dive into another one. So in part one, we exposed the debtor's identity, the role of society, the role that society automatically assigns to you without your consent, because we understand that, well, we had the understanding that the banks was actually loaning us money. We had an understanding that the banks was going to give us real money. Okay, but the reality is that they create credit, and creating credit and giving loans are two different things. However, the economic truth is that they don't actually loan us money, but the legal truth is that they will treat the credit extension as a lawful consideration. Okay, so this is why we get trapped. So in part one, I talked about that, and if you haven't already, go watch part one where I talked about the economic truth versus the legal truth and how to actually tie it together. But in part two, we're going to talk about the sovereign identity, what it takes to actually be sovereign, the role you choose through properly structuring your business and your lifestyle. Okay, so sovereignty isn't loud. It's not political. Those of you guys who think that it's rebellious, and in that sense, you know, there are some things that can be rebellious about it. You are going against the grain. But what if I told you that this is how life is supposed to be? It's not that it's a rebellion. It's the fact that you can opt out of things you don't want to be a part of. You can challenge things that you don't want to be a part of. Sovereignty is separation. It's not getting away from obligations. It's separating yourself from things that are attached to the obligation. Not in a sense like you're getting out of the obligation, but for example, if somebody attempts to sue your company, and let's just say you are not physically attached to your company, you just employed at your company. Well, guess what? They cannot come after your assets. Okay? So when I say separation, sovereignty is understanding that you can separate you and your assets. You can separate you and your liabilities. You can separate you and your paperwork. You can separate you and the role that the system pre-assigned to you. Understanding that as a debtor, you inherently will always feel like you owe somebody. But when you understand that you are the true value, you won't feel like you owe somebody. You will always look at every single situation as a partnership, as a business partnership, a exchange. And you would always feel the need to negotiate anything you don't feel clear about. Because as the creditor, you have clarity. As a sovereign person, you go look for clarity. A sovereign person is a person who truly wants to understand the system, not get away from it. You know what I mean? Because the sovereign person truly understands that it's not something you can get away from. Just like your dreams, you can't get away from your dreams. They just happen. All right? So the sovereign doesn't own everything, but what they do is they control everything that they can control, and they don't worry about things that they cannot control. If I told you that this was a Monopoly board and all you have to do is just play Monopoly the right way, you can control whether you play Monopoly the right way. Learn the game, read the rules, and play the game how it needs to be played. Or you could decide, no, I'm going to play it like Connect 4. I'm going to play it like Sorry. And then those are the people who wants to inherently change the game instead of actually adapting and playing the game how it wants to be played. If you don't want to play this game, then don't play it. Don't try to get credit. Don't try to get free stuff. Don't try to stop paying your bills. Don't try to get a job. Don't try to get a funding. Don't obsess about credit, right? If you're not trying to become financially free in this economic system, this is not the page for you. You get what I'm saying? Well, I won't say that, because I understand that when I say the economic system, I'm talking about if you're trying to be financially free anywhere in the world. You know what I mean? And if these laws apply to your country and your situation, because I have people from Canada, people from Australia, people from the UK that say, yo, everything that you talk about literally is very similar. It is similar in a sense, but how you go about it is a little bit different. The procedures and the legalities and the things that your mediators are looking for are slightly different. Okay. And I would say that in the United States, we have a little bit more power when it comes with remedy. Okay. Some countries don't give you that. All right. So a lot of people who are just so upset at the system. Well, look, this is what you was born into. All right. And a lot of people say that they are believers or whatever the case may be. Do you think that God didn't plan all of this to happen? Do you think that we are, human and man is just so much smarter than God that they would set up a system that would, that whether it's whatever you believe in, the higher power would keep you from being able to reach your higher self? He didn't say there isn't anything that would be external that would try to stop you, but he never said you couldn't reach your highest self. Okay. And your highest self is, people think it's about money. People think it's about strength and all that. It does. All of that does play a part, but it's the element of consciousness. It doesn't matter what religion that you look at. The religions always talk about getting closer to your inner self, getting closer to God. Getting closer to God, if you get closer to the source of what created you, guess what? You become a little bit more conscious and aware of what is around. You know what I mean? So if you start bringing in your awareness in your finances, in the economy, you could be able to overcome some of those economic struggles that you have. You will stop worrying about the government and what the government is going to do about your financial situation, and you will start focusing on what you can do. And if you can't do it, you are not upset. You only are worried about what you control. Okay? And you attempt to make control over things that you can. Some people say, well, I just don't have control. Well, let me put it to you like this. Do you have control to get up early in the morning? Yes, you do. No one's stopping you from going to bed early. No one's stopping you from writing your goals down. No one's stopping you from writing a letter and sending it. No one is stopping you from taking action on a debt collector. No one's stopping you from fixing your credit. No one is stopping you from creating content. Nobody's stopping you from starting that LLC. Nobody is stopping you. And if I told you that if you just did those things, if you understood those things, you could be able to start to move towards your life in a way of you start to make decisions for yourself and not people making decisions for you. It's these little steps that we don't take to govern ourselves. And this is the reason why we lose control or feel like we are in control. Okay. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, I need to learn how to build the structure the right way so that I could be able to have control over my life. I need to be able to understand how to fix my credit. I need to be able to understand and have control over my credit reports. I need to be able to understand how to be able to fight these debt collectors, how to create a trust, how to be able to organize my documents. You dig what I'm saying? How to be able to fully understand this system. That is why I built the Fund Yourself School. Okay. The Fund Yourself School. Right now we're at 999 members. We hit 1,000 members and somebody was hating and dropped out, but that's totally fine. They wasn't serious. And again, this right here is for the community. And anybody that joins this, obviously, you support the channel. But ultimately, what we do, man, in this community, I break down step by step how to organize your documents, how to build your internal banking, how to be able to structure trust and entities, and how to operate like a creditor in a system designed for debtors. Okay? Tap into the Fund Yourself Academy. We have classroom, courses, resources, and templates that you could be able to use as a tool to learn. There are people out here that for only $27 a month to the end of the year, there are a lot of people out here that are selling programs or whatever the case may be, and they are not pouring into the program. They are not adding value or even connecting the dots. So if you watch my YouTube videos, you need to tap into the school community if you want those extra breakdowns, if you feel like you need more help. So if you're ready to build that structure instead of confusion, the link is in the description or somewhere around here. All right. So for the average person, assets are exposed, right? Homes, cars, income. Anybody can find out what your income is. Okay. Anybody can search your name up, what car you drive, the VIN number and everything. Same thing with your home. They can look up your home and find all your information. You can go on True People Search and find out information about people. Now, one lawsuit, one debt problem, one miscalculation, and your entire life is on the table. Boom, you get in that accident with that Ferrari, man, you know? But wealthy families never hold assets personally. They hold them in a trust, okay? A trust isn't mystical. A trust is a relationship. One party holds the title, another party enjoys the benefit, and the trust document governs the rule. Now, this creates the separation. And in commerce, separation is protection, because somebody has to have authority to attack you or has to have justification to attack you. If they are having problems with the trust company and you are not considered, and you are not the trust, because you can't be the trust. You could be a creator of the trust. You can have a trustee and you can have a beneficiary, but the only person that has to deal with that debt collector is the trustee, and that trustee is not the owner of the trust. Okay. So it gives you more legal distance. Here's the part most people never learn. Wealthy individuals never rely on one bank. They become their own bank internally. They become their own bank internally. And I told people that if you truly want it to be in a private part, it's not about you doing paperwork. Okay. It's about you understanding the system that you live in, understanding the structure. Because guess what? If you know the structure, I told you guys in my last video that if you have $10 million in assets, then you are a private citizen. Someone will say, well, I can't do that. But let me tell you something. If $10 million makes you a private citizen, don't you think the same amount of work will take to fully be sovereign? If you think that being sovereign is going to get you millions of dollars, you're sadly mistaken. Because most of those people that are sovereign, they did the administrative process, and some of them wasn't even sovereign. Some of them just went to court, challenged them, was able to fight those disclosures, was able to crack the transparency. And when they did that, guess what? The bank had to fold. Private banking isn't about hiding. It's about tracking. It's about documenting. It's about controlling the flows of money, credit, and your promises. When you understand Article 9, which specifically talks about secure transactions, loans, cars, homes, anything that's connected to security, whoever controls the collateral controls the claim. Whoever controls the house controls the claim. Whoever controls the car controls the claim. That's why documentation matters more than the dollars. Banks organize everything. Consumers organize nothing. I tell people, when you are starting any type of communication with a debt collector, build an evidence binder. Okay? This is how we stay accountable. Yeah, I can help you put the letters together, coach you and all those things, but keep a record of everything. Okay? One side will win through structure and truth, and the other side will lose through confusion. This is how you want to flip the script. You want to start where they are confused about their angle, where they are like, dang, why didn't we reply back? Why didn't we do our duty? Okay? So structure is only as strong as your paperwork. This is why I talk about the documentation. Why you should learn how to document. You should learn how to organize. You should learn how to write your letters and send your letters. You know what I mean? You should learn the discipline to be consistent. If you are going to challenge the bank, stop obsessing about this coupon and stop obsessing about this bill of exchange, thinking that you're going to send a bill of exchange alone and you're going to win. No, you got to send a bill of exchange with documentation that explains what you want them to do with your bill of exchange. And then you want to be consistent and take them through the administrative process if they do not comply. If they dishonor you, you need to call them out on it. You know what I mean? When I start talking like this, It's almost like someone will say, well, I seen your video on X, Y, and Z. And I'd be like, how did you see that video? And you're still asking me about this coupon. No, you should probably validate the debt first before you send them a coupon. You probably should validate their authority to collect before you do that, or else you're showing them your hand right away. Okay? It actually wouldn't really matter if you knew what you were doing. Okay? Every financial conflict, every dispute, every negotiation, every discharge comes to one thing. Documentation proves the truth. If you document everything, that's going to prove the truth. If you document that you are separate from your straw man, they must honor it. They must prove that you're not your straw man. Okay? Servicers respect documentation. Courts rely on documentations, and regulators demand documentation. So you're not going to get far without writing that communication. Sending a coupon, promissory note, doing like this because they don't want to give you your reparations. It's not going to do anything. Okay? The sovereign understands this, but that's why the sovereign documents everything. That's exactly why any person I talked to, they said, I called so-and-so and they said this, that, and the third. I said, did you have them send it to you in writing? Oh, I called and I told them this, that, and the third. I said, did you send it to them in writing? And no, I didn't. Everything you just told me over the phone, everything you just said in this voice message, everything you're saying in this text message, all these questions that you're asking me, put it on a piece of paper and send it to them. You're asking me why they didn't respond back to you. You should be asking them why they didn't respond back to you. You can't truly be free if you have to ask for permission every single time. This is why you want to understand it, so you don't have to ask permission. Not even me. Not even me asking for permission. What should I send now? It looks like you're looking for me to do the work for you. You know, I got my own life. I got my own problems. And the best I can do is to create a school community where I upload resources and breakdowns from my YouTube videos and literally break down everything in my free YouTube videos. But because it's free, people won't see value in it. Because it's free, because nobody's putting in investment, that's exactly why people stay stuck in the same situation, asking for more, because you don't understand the value of what you're getting for free. Okay? Consumer laws, the shield that you never learned. I always say that the USC, when we say the Fair Credit Reporting Act, when we say the Truth in Lending Act, when we say the FDCPA, when we say the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, these are essentially put in place to give you protection, okay? You were never taught that the system gives you protection, but only if you know how to activate them. So this is what I'm talking about when I say that they're not gonna literally keep you in shackles. They cannot do that unless you contract to it. But to every contract, there is a way to be able to opt out the contract, okay? Whether you're going to challenge the legality of the contract, whether the contract is something that is enforceable, okay? So in law, the Truth in Lending Act gives transparency. RESP gives disclosure, okay? Truth in Lending Act, transparency. Tell me the truth about the lending. Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, for real estate, it gives disclosures. It requires disclosures. The FDCPA gives verification, validation for debt. The Fair Credit Reporting Act gives accuracy, decides whether what you just put was accurate, true, to the best of your knowledge. And the UCC gives structure. The UCC gives you those actionable steps and those powers to be able to exercise things like transparency, disclosures, accounting, okay? It bridges all those protections together. You don't fight institutions with emotion. You hold them accountable with the process. I only get emotional with y'all because I want y'all to win. And y'all are humans. Y'all feel my emotion. You get what I'm saying? Sovereign doesn't say, this is unfair. I can't remember the last time I said something was unfair. Maybe if I was playing a video game or something. Even if I play that, it isn't unfair. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? A sovereign will say, show the record. Oh, well, if that is the case, then just prove it to me. And if you can prove it to me, look, that's where I know that I messed up. I messed up because of something that I didn't do, okay? So here's why structure creates freedom. Freedom is in the absence. As a matter of fact, before I even dive into that, I do wanna, before I close out, I wanna break down the 3 layers of commercial power, all right? Everything in commerce runs through 3 layers. Most people only understand one. Wealthy understand all three. And the sovereign individuals operate at the top. So here are the 3 layers of commercial power. Make sure you guys are following me. Everything in layer 1, your procedure. Procedure is the entry level. These are the rules everyone knows in payments, due dates, statements, billing cycles, interest. This is where consumer lives. They follow instructions, but they don't understand the game. So they may follow the procedures, but they don't understand why those procedures are in place. Okay? Layer number 2 is understanding your rights. This is where most Americans have power that they never use. So understanding the procedures is what most people know, right? You know you got to pay your bill on time. You know you got to end up going to court for something, whatever the case may be. You know you got to reach out or call or pay your bill using this payment portal. But most people don't know their rights. They don't know how powerful they actually are. See, the Truth in Lending Act gives you the right to clarity, to clarify. RESPA gives you the right to disclosures. The FDCPA gives you the right to verification. And the FCRA gives you the right to accuracy. Rights activate when you ask questions. If you're not asking questions, you are not using your rights. And they protect you when things go wrong. Ask a question before a demand. But there's one more layer, and this is the layer that changes everything. Your structure. Structure is the sovereign layer. It's where you operate through entities, trust, and contracts and internal banking principles. If you have a business, if you have a trust, you can actually put yourself in a position to become sovereign. You couldn't really become sovereign if you only have a job. I'm not saying you can't if you have a job, if you only have a job, because you don't own your job. So you take what you make at your job and you start cultivating something that you can actually own and control yourself. Structure controls how assets are held, how liabilities are separated, how risk is transferred, which is super important for my debt validation people, how wealth is protected for my people that have assets that they want to protect, and how documentation is organized. This is where the wealthy families live and where the sovereign individuals rise. Most people fight from layer 1, the procedures. Some people defend from layer 2, but the people who win are the people who build generational wealth, operate from layer 3, because when they are structuring their own life, when they have created their own conglomerate, they've essentially created their own system, their own government. And this is why you don't really see wealthy people, and I'm not talking about the ones that are on the TV screens and all that, but even the ones on the TV screens, they're not out here complaining about politics and this, that, and the third, because they're so far removed because they have built a structure. That is how you become sovereign. It's building structure. It's becoming wealthy. It's building that generational wealth for you and your family. It's, you know, the destination never changed. Some people heard sovereignty, heard straw man, heard all this and thought that they didn't never have to work again. No, they didn't have to own a business. They didn't have to do this. No, that's not the case. Start a business. Some of us want to start a trust, okay? If you start a trust with no assets, what was the point? Okay, yes, you use it for debt assignment. Start a business. Go get your LLC, EIN from the IRS website, and business bank account. Set your business up. Open an online store. Create products and promote it online. Use advertisements or use organic content. Start building cash flow. After you have mastered cash flow, then you can start diving into assets. There's a lot of people out here that don't understand how to make money, but they want to be wealthy. They want to have assets. They want to start investing in stocks, but they cannot make money without going to work for 8 hours, spending all your day at work. And then when you come home, you are tired and you don't want to do anything that actually you can control. You're going to stay controlled for the rest of your life if you do not get out your comfort zone and start structuring something for yourself. Get out of the control factor. Stop trying to skate by if you truly want to be free. If you are okay with skating by, don't be in the video getting upset. Why can I never pay my debt? Why do I have to pay my debt? And that's exactly why the good Lord sees that you don't, that you continue to do that, because you haven't learned anything. See, there are people who want the result, but they don't want to learn. If you just want the result, for people that don't have to essentially work, right? And it's not that they don't have to work. It's just that those people have put in the work to get to a position to where they don't have to work as hard for money. because they did that external work. They did that inner work. You know what I mean? Because who you are today, yes, you may not be able to pay your debt, but if you start putting in the work now, you may be in a position to control your debt and pay your debt in the future. But if you skate by and you just play a victim for the rest of your life, you're going to be a victim and you'll never be free. You'll never be able to exercise free will. You'll never be able to do that. I'm not the richest person in the world. I'm not the wealthiest person in the world. I'm not the smartest person in the world. And I am free. I don't feel shackled. And if there's something I feel like I cannot move forward in, it is literally because of something that I know I'm just not doing. And I can be accountable and say that. Whether I'm gonna tell somebody every single thing that I feel like I'm not accountable for, no, I'm not. But as long as I know and I'm willing to do the work, that is true sovereignty, okay? So let's close this out. Freedom isn't the absence of debt. Freedom is the presence of control. When your identity, your documents, your entities, your trust, your contracts, and your accounts all align, the system stops viewing you as a debtor and they start respecting you as an entity. Structure is power, separation is protection, and documentation is leverage. It's that plain and simple. I remember I would listen to people like Jim Rohn. I would listen to people like Tony Robbins. I would listen to people like Zig Ziglar, listen to people like Napoleon Hill, listen to people like Earl Nightingale. And they would say things so simple. And I'm like, yo, I actually thought of that, but I didn't think it was that simple. The hard part is getting up to do it. The hard part is getting over the fear to do it, okay? So, now that you guys have gotten this far, thank y'all for watching the video. In part 3, we're gonna bring everything together. From part 1 to part 2, help you understand remedy, discharge, negotiation, wealth building, and the path to true financial freedom. So if you're ready to build structure, join the Fund Yourself Academy on School. Tap into the school if you truly want the resources and truly want the knowledge. Number 2, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications on, and then also leave a comment down below what you liked about this video, what you would like to learn more, and any questions that you have, any value you want to bring. Let me know if this helped. Thank y'all once again. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.